Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. This week I am taking a break from my regular routines because we are going to Switzerland. And as it happens most times, I would say, when I go visit my family, I'm not just taking the stuff I want to take, but also I'm taking stuff that I need to bring to my family because they ordered it here, because it's now possible to order it to Switzerland. And I think that's kind of interesting because family trips always turn into not just my thing, but something we're doing for everyone. Another thing that I think is very interesting about these trips to Switzerland is that, of course, they're kind of breaking up my regular routine. I need to organize my work around it, my self-employed business as well as my social work. And I'm leaving my apartment. I'm leaving where I'm living. But it's also not the same as going on other trips because I've been to Switzerland many times and I've lived there for the first 20 years of my life. And so it feels like on one hand I'm doing something new, I'm doing something irregular, and on the other hand I am just doing something I do at least once a year, and I'm going to a place I've spent most of my time in. And so I think it's an interesting feeling between experiencing something new and also doing something that's very, very normal, basic, and maybe even more normal because I've spent more time in Switzerland than in Germany in my life. I'm going to talk more about this subject later of novelty and escapism, but now I just hope you enjoy this video and the landscapes and the shots I've tried to catch to make this a bit more entertaining. We arrived in Switzerland and it's evening now. I'm pretty tired. We're gonna cook dinner soon, and now I think I'm just gonna relax for a bit before that. There's a topic I've been thinking about a lot lately, or actually during the past few years, and that is how much novelty should we pursue? And by novelty, I mean new things and new experiences. Now, coming from a minimalism background, of course, my philosophy is kind of that we do not need that much new stuff. And also when we think about sustainability, I don't think new things are actually bringing us as much joy as we think or as we hope. And the other question then, of course, is what about experiences? Because I've said before that I do not think that it's a good idea to just swap out the constant buying of new things to always experiencing new things. Like, at some point it starts to become escapism. And so I've been thinking about like a balance between escapism, where we're like running away from our reality, trying to just consume as many new experiences and things as possible to maybe numb our present moment, and necessary novelty. Like, I do think we need a certain amount of necessary new experiences and new things. And so I wanted to also take this trip as an example because, of course, going to Switzerland is not really new for me. I've been here many times, I've grown up here, I've spent a lot of time here, But then on the other hand, it's also not my everyday routine. So it's still a bit new, it's still a bit different. And then especially today, we actually came out here to a part of Switzerland that I haven't really been to before. So that I can experience something that's actually new to me, that I haven't seen before. And I think that is also an important thing to do sometimes. But why do I even think that there could be like too much novelty, or how could that ever be like unhealthy? So from my own experience, I know that for a certain time in my life, I always wanted to, I don't know, travel full time, always be on the road, always have something new. And I think that's kind of a very, very similar craving to always wanting to buy new things. And the bad thing is that even doing something new all the time does not really help, because it is not about the new stuff always necessarily, but it could be about a lot of different other things that we are unhappy about. So I do think that when we're unhappy with our life, sometimes we tend to buy a lot of stuff, or we tend to just throw ourselves into adventures and do new stuff all the time, and it doesn't actually change something about the way we feel. I think my goal is just to be able to appreciate the new things that I experience to the fullest, but to also be absolutely okay with my everyday life, and to not always feel like it's not enough, to not always feel like I need more, I need different things, I need to plan an adventure when I'm not even home, like from my last trip, something like that. And today I'm just really, really happy to see some new things here in Switzerland. So I do think novelty is important, and it's absolutely okay to seek out as much of it as we want, as long as we're not doing it to kind of numb ourselves and to escape from our lives, which then would be escapism again, right? And I think that's also the point where we drown into adventures and maybe aren't even able to appreciate it anymore, which also kind of brings me back to slow living, because I do think that doing less does not mean there is less novelty, because it's always about appreciating the things that you see. It's always about actually noticing, and it's always also about having a bit of time and space, giving yourself a bit of space to process. In the end, I think I can go home feeling relaxed, but still rich and full of new experiences. And this is, I think, the novelty that I want to seek out. This is my novelty practice: slow living and slow travel, making sure that I'm actually seeing new places, that I'm actually doing different things and tasting different things, but also making sure that I give myself enough space to also notice the small things, and not just the big, attractive, huge things that just shove themselves into my face. And this is why I think love hiking, because there's so many little beautiful things, and the landscape changes slowly. And I hope today in this video you could also kind of see the beautiful landscape that we could experience here today.